It's Monday morning. What a time. So, as I am getting ready to get started and get working for this week, I wanted to take some time and plan out what this week was going to entail. Similar to how last week was the systems week, this week there's a couple core things just to finish that workout I want to do. So, having like a game over screen, being able to restart, and having a really even rudimentary upgrade system so there's something that you can progress towards. Those are all things that I'm aiming for this week. And if I have time, I want to start working on difficulty scaling. Since I only have one type of enemy right now, it might mean just spawning more. And then I'm hoping next week will be more of a content week to build out more enemies and add some tanks or rocket launchers or things like that. But for now, this week, I just want to keep getting the core gameplay finished. So today, especially, I think I'm going to try and work on getting the game over scene good to go. So today I was able to finish the game over UI. So you can see it right here. It's pretty simple, nothing too complex, but I think it looks pretty good. And this button will restart your game. And important to note that the score that you have at the top of the screen resets. So that's just your level specific score. How well are you doing right now? But your money stays the same. And so I kind of want that to be a persistent thing and have upgrades be persisted over time. So I wasn't able to do anything with the upgrades yet, but I did add a auto load or a singleton basically for the player stats. And usually I try not to use auto loads, but it made a lot of sense here just to move our player stats in there so that they persist between scenes in Godot really easily. And so I did that, and I'll show you what the game looks like right now. So you'll see that if I'm coming over here and I'll try and kill one of these guys, and so you'll see that I'll gain some score and money, and then I will die to this guy real quick. And so you'll see I added a little bit of a fade in animation right there just to make it a little less jarring. There's still some work to be done there. It is just kind of a quick jump, but it makes it look a little bit better. And then if I restart, you'll see that my score is 0, but I still have my money. So using an auto load was a really good way to make things just persist across levels and allow really easily to change player progression, although it looks like my health is still at 0. So I do need to add some stuff to implement actually updating our in-game stats whenever you start a new game. So it's Tuesday today, and I've got one goal that I'm going to try and get through, and it's getting the basic UI for our upgrade scene done. So I want to have the main look and feel and container for it, and then be able to start actually implementing its functionality later on. But today, just making sure that I've got a good design for it and that I'm able to get something that works. So you'll see right now just a time lapse of some starting work on it, and then in just a sec I'll show you what I have at the end of the day today. So after a lot of messing around with this today, this is kind of the final product that I've come up with, and I think it turned out pretty well. I'm a little concerned about how readable this text is going to be, but I was trying to solve for displaying as much information as I could while also not making it really hard to read. And so the idea is that you would click or select on one of these single upgrades here, and it would update the information that you see here as well as the amount that it takes to upgrade to the next level. And if I run this scene, you'll see that it looks pretty good, I think. And if I make it smaller so it's about a phone size, I think it's okay. It's definitely going to need some testing on the phone, but overall I'm pretty happy with this. The only downside is because I want to have a fair amount of upgrades in the game, and I think 6 is a good amount just for your core Seagull. It probably means that I'm going to have a separate page for special abilities that can also be upgraded on their own, so there's going to be a little bit of thinking around what that takes, but overall I'm pretty happy with this basic layout, and I'm excited to hopefully start getting it actually connected and working in the next couple days. Alright, so today I didn't actually finish the upgrade screen or get it to a point where I can wire it into the game. But you will see that I've made some tweaks to the UI, so it largely looks the same. But what I've done that I completely forgot yesterday is that you're going to need a way to exit the screen, duh. So I added a continue button here that you'll be able to use and get back into the game. I also realized that with the way the screen space was working out, there just wasn't going to be enough space to show upgrades and abilities side by side, so I decided to allow the user to get all that info by tabbing between. And so if I run this scene now, you'll see that I can switch these tabs, and right now they look the same. And they'll probably look pretty similar, but one thing that's super nice and that I love about Godot is that the way that scenes are set up and how it encourages composition, it's super easy for me now to add more tabs. And so I spent a lot of time today not just refactoring the UI, but also breaking out all the things that I'd previously just had in one big scene out into their own individual scenes so that you can add them and change them and reuse them really easily. So a lot of kind of plumbing and background work that happened today, but stuff that'll make it really easy going forward to keep working on the game. And so this is kind of the final version of the UI for now of what this will look like. And so what I spent a lot of time on today is actually adding a bunch of scripts to these new scenes I added. So you'll see now that like there's a bunch of different scripts that I've attached to all these sub scenes for our screen. And so it's almost there. I think I've got pretty much all of the like connections wired up and down. Now I just need to actually implement upgrade resources. I think I'll probably do resources in Godot so that there's actually upgrade information there and I can pass that through. So all the connections are there. It is a very tedious process because somehow, you know, like 10 layers deep of these upgrades in here, I need to pass up that they were clicked on to our upgrade screen so I can connect that to our info area over here so I can update that. And that's one of the reasons I really like using the resource pattern in Godot, and I'll try and give more explanation of what that looks like when I actually get those in, because resources are just data, so it's okay to pass them between parts of your UI. And so if I click on an upgrade here, I can just pass in, rather than trying to pass in this upgrade scene, I can pass in the upgrade resource, like the underlying data, and up to our upgrade screen, which will give it to the info area. And so this button here, when you click on it to upgrade, can actually affect that upgrade resource directly. It doesn't have to, you know, go back and tell something else that it got clicked on or whatever. And so it's a really powerful way to affect data and wire things up in your UI while still making it really clean and nicely architected. So that's what I worked on today, and then I'm hoping tomorrow to get enough of this done and actually get some basic upgrade resources in there so we can see it at work. Unfortunately, today I haven't been able to actually get the full upgrade screen working, implemented in the game yet, but I have been making good progress. I was actually able to add an upgrade resource that I've been using to handle upgrades and that you can edit completely within the editor to add new ones. So that's really nice. And I've also gone through and made sure that everything is wired up properly. So you'll see here, if I click on one of these upgrades, that it'll actually update it to be the upgrade resource under the hood. It'll currently check the player's money, and I added some handling for how to build up effect strings, so it'll actually tell the player what buying this upgrade is going to do and what it currently does at this level. So just a lot of like background stuff to try and give a good experience to the player when they're playing, even if it's not fully in there yet. And I can show you too the resources that I was adding if I come up here in my file system. So I added this big upgrade script that really is just a data container for a lot of different properties, as well as having some functions to, you know, manipulate those properties. And so all I have to do now is just create a new upgrade resource within the system, and I can get all of its info completely within the editor and just lay it out here. And I can basically just copy this and keep adding new ones, and all the data will be stored correctly for any upgrade or ability in the game. And that still means we'll have to actually implement those abilities in game per se, but I've given away with enums and some just simple value sets here that will let you really easily create new upgrades going forward. So I'm hopeful that tomorrow I'll be able to actually get this screen in the game, but no promises. All right, so it is Friday morning and I have one goal today, and it is get upgrades in the game. So I'm gonna go work on that, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. So today, finally, I was able to get upgrades into the game. And so I've got it now where basically upon startup, all the upgrades that I've defined, which there's only 4 right now, get loaded into our player stats and moved into an upgrade array that then gets used later on by the game. And so I can run it here. And what I've got now, just for as a temporary measure, is that it's on a 10-second timer. So after 10 seconds, it'll take you to the upgrade screen. And so here you'll see if I kill someone, it'll update and move me to the upgrade screen after 10 seconds. It'll show the current money I have. I also added like a default state for the info area, so there's nothing there when you first get to this screen.
And there's still some tweaks that'll probably need to be done with that. But now if I click on one of these, it'll actually load in the upgrade itself with its details, its name, and what it does down here. And again, super easy to define these. Like, all I have to do is create a new resource down here and just put in the data. And so it'll look at how much money I have, see that I don't have enough, and it won't let me buy it. And then if I switch tabs, it'll clear things out again, just so that it kind of prevents, you know, weird states from happening. And I've come to realize as I was doing these upgrades that I think I want this upgrade screen to just be general Seagull upgrades. And I think I'm going to add another tab called Weapons, which lets you upgrade, you know, your main attack, lets you upgrade and purchase, like, you know, a homing rocket or something, or like a periodic, like, you know, you shoot things in every direction, just background weapons on top of abilities. Again, I'm trying to be careful about having too many features or scope creep, but I think that'll be a helpful way. And then these things, like when I upgrade my damage here, it'll just be overall damage, or maybe a percentage. So there's still going to be some tweaks and edits to what I have here, but I think this is a good start, and it's good to actually have upgrades in the game now. They're not currently wired up to do anything, but you can actually purchase them and get to the screen. And if I hit continue, you know, I'll start with my money again, just like I had since I didn't spend anything, and I can keep doing this, and it'll be on a 10-second loop. And so eventually I'll probably move this more towards a minute, or figure out a better way to incorporate the upgrade screen, whether that means having an upgrade button you can click to bring this up, or having, you know, like a minute or 2 minute intervals that you go through. So all that to say, though, upgrades are in the game. They're actually done, and everything looks like it's working. So I'm pretty happy with how things have turned out here. So at the end of week 2, I am slightly less far as I hoped I would be. The upgrade screen definitely took more time than I thought it was going to, but I'm happy with how it turned out, and I think having a good foundation for this is going to be really important to make the game feel replayable over time. So I'm hoping next week to really focus on and hopefully get something working as far as levels and difficulty scaling, so there's actually a full game loop. So we'll see how that works. It's going to be kind of a busy week and weekend, so not sure how much I'll get done, but hopefully I'll be able to get another video out with some good progress next week. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all the support and all the time that you guys spend commenting and leaving feedback, and I'll see you in the next video.